Thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's talk about this episode. I'm not gonna lie, I loved it. I loved it. It gave me the feels of what reality TV used to be, where people were just like themselves unedited, like completely unedited, and they weren't like trying to self-edit. Like when I tell y'all, I was like, oh, this is a mess, but I'm living for it. So let's get into it. All right, y'all. So the episode opens up, and it's the night before, well, the day after the night before, where Sutton was in tears. Sutton was in tears, feeling defeated. Diana went off, and we're at Kyle's home, and we are there with Lisa Rinna, Erika, and Kyle, and they're all waking up in the morning, getting breakfast and coffee. One thing, I'm tired of Kyle talking so much about what Kathy has on. It's like, let Kathy be Kathy, because at the end of the day, Kathy ain't got approved. Like, we know Kathy is a wealthy lady. We know Kathy got stacks on top of stacks on top of stacks on top of more stacks on top of another stack. We know that lady is loaded. So if she wanna, and mind you, who gets dressed up to go to the airport? Because I know I don't. I don't. I have a specific outfit that I wear. It's normally some leggings or some joggers. I wear my Crocs so I can slip them things off real quick so I can walk through TSA. And I normally got on a hoodie, or I at least have on a jacket, because it's always be cold in the airport, or it's cold on the airplane. And I got like socks just in case. So I'm just like, why are you trying to critique what she has on? If she wants to be comfortable, let the lady be comfortable. Mind you, them shoes was raggedy, but I'm just like, it's Kathy. Let Kathy be Kathy. So her trying to critique Kathy, it was annoying. Like, Kyle gives very much annoying, like just annoying little sister, because I think it goes Kathy, Kathy, Kim, then Kyle. I think that's the order. I think Kim is the middle child. But it's just like, shut up, Kyle. So they're sitting at the kitchen table and they're talking about what happened. And of course, they give Diana a pass. They're like, Diana's just very hurt and it just built up. They then talk about how, like, they like having 101s with Sutton because she's different in her 101s. But when she's in a group, she does a 180. They also try to talk about how childish it was for Garcelle and Sutton to unfollow Erika. But I'm like, is it that childish? Because if you don't know, and you can read the articles up there, which I find this stupid that was a topic of news, is Lisa Rinna has unfollowed Garcelle, Crystal, and Sutton. So I'm like, is it really childish? When it's only childish when it's done to y'all, but when it's done to everybody else, there's a reason. So I'm just like, y'all are so hypocritical that it's annoying at this point. Because at the end of the day, if we're gonna be all the way 100, people unfollow each other in friend groups and still stay in groups, or they'll put somebody on mute, or they'll like, at least you didn't get blocked. It's different. When you block somebody, I think the energy is different. If I block someone, that means you don't exist. You do not exist to me. Like, I don't care about you. I can count how many times I've blocked somebody. More than likely, I'll just unfollow you, and that's enough for me never to see you on my timeline again. But it's just like, to block somebody, that means like you really not a factor in their lives anymore. So I'm just like, okay, they unfollowed each other. Y'all still are going to be in the same vicinity with one another and still filming. So is it that big of a deal? But I do think it's weird that they're all sitting at the table being like, it's so childish. When I'm just like, y'all are actively playing high school games right now. And I just think y'all are bothered that the people you deem unworthy or you deem uncool are actually being like, F y'all. We don't got to click up with y'all. We can do our own thing. We find out that the group is going to break off. We're going to see, I think it was Crystal, Diana, Lisa Rinna, Kyle, and Dorit, and I'm about to call him Marcelino. It's a different show. Mauricio are all going skiing. Kathy stayed at the house sleeping with the dogs. And then Sutton, Cherie, Garcelle, and Erika are going snowmobile riding. I probably would have did snowmobile riding. I find skiing to be boring. And after I go up the slope like 1 or 2 times, my ankles get sore and I don't want to do it no more. So skiing just ain't for me. I wanted to learn how to snowboard, but like when I was learning how to ski, we got to see the people learning how to snowboard, and I was like, oh no. The amount of times I saw people eating snow, like, and I mean, like, hit the snow. No. I said, girl, teach me how to do a French fry and a pizza. French fry pizza. That's real simple, and I can get you, and then I can stop myself with them little things. So no, thank you. But yeah, we found out it's been 20 years since Dorit has been on the slope. So she was nervous. I got annoyed with Crystal being competitive about being on the slope. And then I think that's the issue with Crystal is it's like Crystal was insecure but yet competitive. And it's like that is probably why you have the issues you do. Like you have this disorder. And then on top of that, you're competitive. And then Chris, you know what? Crystal has the mindset to me of a lot of like younger women, even though she's older than me, but like real like I mean like young women like in their early 20s, like where you're like we've been conditioned to like compete with certain women, and some women hop out of that in like high school and middle school because some women are just like it ain't worth it, but there are some women who have grown up to where it's like every woman that they're around, they're in competition, and it becomes like this sick cycle of you constantly trying to best somebody that doesn't even know they're in competition with you or doesn't even care that you're there, and then you start doing things to yourself. And I think that's the issue with Crystal. Like, why do you need to be competitive? It's not like y'all are racing down the slope, because it don't seem like everybody else was racing. It just seems like they were all just having a good time. Except Dorit. Dorit sucked. I said, girl, you should have just went with them and got on the snowmobile. But I do find it weird that Dorit went and stayed with Diana. I don't know. I just feel like Dorit is milking this home invasion situation because I don't want to say like that sounds really mean, but because like I think the issue is like a lot of us are feeling like, did it really happen or didn't it happen? But then again, I think it really did happen because I think I saw somewhere that the people that broke in are actually on trial. So I guess they did find them. So her feelings are valid. But it's just like, girl, if you wanted to stay at a hotel, then you should have just stayed at a hotel. Like, are you trying to get close? It seems like Dorit is trying to get close to Diana. I think that's what I'm saying when I say she's milking it. It just seems like she's trying to be buddy-buddy with Diana because Diana is the new Lisa Vanderpump in the sense of having wealth. And Dorit somewhat gives me an opportunist. She just does. She just does. Before the ladies went to go snowmobiling, we have Cherie, I think it was Cherie, Sutton, and Garcelle in the car. And they're just talking about what happened last night. Sutton said she actually had a good night's sleep, but she was like, you know what? I'm gonna just stay in my lane now. And Garcelle was just like, yeah, like you don't have to be friends with them. And I told y'all, Opetta is trying so hard to like convince Sutton and Garcelle that like, they should be able to give the ladies a chance. And I'm like, you're not getting a diamond, Cherie. So stop. Stop. Because Cherie is really like, don't call her that because they called Erika their non-friend. And I'm like, at this point, she is a non-friend, especially when it pertains to Garcelle and Sutton. She calls Sutton to see you next Tuesday. She she constantly is yelling at Sutton or disrespecting Sutton, telling her to go F off. Like, she does whatever. Like, she's mad disrespectful. They made fun of her the night before. For Garcelle, you got her disrespecting her son, as well as calling her a liar and trying to make Garcelle seem like she's doing things with malicious intent. So, in both regards, Erika should not see them as a friend, and they should not see Erika as a friend. And it's very much that. They're non-friends. Shout out to Sutton. But when Erika gets in the Sprinter so they can go to the snowmobile place, it was so awkward because everybody was quiet. And I was kind of happy because my thing is like, this is real reality where it's like legit, like we not cool like that. And I'm not about to talk to you because I don't like you. Like we good, but we not that good. And I don't feel the need to have small talk with you. And I think that is something that Erika's gonna have to get used to because she's so used to the Fox Force 5, like kissing up to her and be like, oh, Erika, like, I want to be your friend, Erika. I'm trying to be your friend, Erika. She's used to people vying for her attention the same way Diana is. And I think it kind of puts her off, especially with Garcelle, because Garcelle is like, girl, I don't have to be your friend. And I think Erika is like, pause, girl. What you mean? You ain't got to be my friend. And Garcelle is very much like, sis, I don't have to be your friend. I really don't. And she doesn't. She don't got to be that lady friend. But they seem to have a good time at the going snowmobiling. They it was funny because Garcelle was freaking out with Cherie because Cherie was going fast. Sutton was moving so slow, and I was like, Sutton, that's lame. But they sit down because they have like a break and they start talking about what happened the night before. And Garcelle asks Sutton, like, so what are you going to do when you see Diana? And Sutton is like, I mean, I'd rather sit next to Erika because I really like Erika. And I want Sutton to stop trying to like smooth things over with Erika. Because at the end of the day, Erika's been giving you her ass to kiss since the beginning of the season, since last season, if we're going to be all the way 100. So stop trying to be friends with them. I get it. That probably is like a coping mechanism of yours where you're just like, you don't want things to be awkward, because I've done that before where like I don't like feeling uncomfortable in the situation. So I'll just be like, I'll try to say sorry, or even though I know I'm right, but I'll try to smooth it over because I don't like the feeling of the uncomfortability. But it's like at this point, you just gonna have to get comfortable with it. So she got to chill with that. But I was happy that Sutton said she wasn't gonna apologize anymore, because Diana don't owe it. You don't owe Diana no apology anymore. Any more apologies. You got Erika saying like, to be honest, I feel like your apologies aren't sincere. And I call BS because I think the apology that Sutton gave Diana when they were doing the charity foundation at Kyle's house with Jamie Lee Curtis was a genuine apology, where Sutton said, Sutton took ownership. I think she said this has been 95% my fault. She took complete ownership of the breakdown in the relationship between her and Diana. And all Diana could say was like, oh, okay. So it's like, how many times do you apologize to somebody that's not going to accept it? And at this point, Sutton just needs to accept that Diana's not going to accept it. And we just need to move on and let go and let God. Because Erika's whole thing is like, when I mess up, I own it. And she was like, I tell people, like, that was me in that moment because that's how I felt, but I own it. And I was like, do you really own it? Do you really accept the BS that you be putting out? Who really knows? Who really knows? But let's move on to the next part of this. Okay, so the next scene is where we see everybody is getting ready to go to dinner for that night. And we see Garcelle goes to check on Crystal, and they get to talking. Crystal's asking Garcelle, well, how did skiing go? And and then Crystal is asking, did I say that right? Garcelle is asking Crystal how skiing went, and Crystal's asking Garcelle, how did snowmobile go? And Garcelle's talking about how, me and Erika had a pleasant time. It was nice. And Crystal's like, that's great. She also talks about how, she was happy that they were able to hash the way they hashed things out and kind of just go on, go to each other's respectful corners and just be chill. She was just like, I wish everything could happen that way, but we know it doesn't. Crystal also talks about the earrings. Like, Garcelle brings up the earrings. She's just like, girl, it's everywhere now. And she was like, those $7,500 earrings, like, it's everywhere. Like, everyone's talking about it. And Crystal's like, girl, she should just give them up. Like, at this point, them earrings are from ill-gotten money. Like, just give the earrings up and move on. So they go to dinner. I thought it was funny that Sutton was struggling to get in the bus. I said, Sutton, if you don't hike your leg up, Sutton be acting like she's older than what she is. Like, I think Sutton is like 51 or 52, but she acts like she's like 79. Like, girl, if you don't stop, that's why people be acting like you're fragile and frail, because you be acting that way, Sutton. So they go to dinner. Everyone's sitting around. They're all having a good time. Kyle is ragging on Kathy's outfit. Now, I will say, I would have ragged on that purse that Kathy had, because why do you have a shopping bag as a purse? Like, but I also feel like Kathy is scared to bring her stuff around because Erika's around. She's like, the girl ain't gonna steal my stuff. She be stealing everybody else's stuff, but she ain't gonna steal mine. But they're all sitting at the restaurant. They're eating. They're having a good time. They're like enjoying each other's company. And then they're asking about Diana's outfit. Like, is it Terry Mugler, or I think they said, did they say Givenchy? No, I think they asked her like which one, what was the outfit, like what was the outfit's designer, and she said, "Oh, Terry Mugler." So they're like, "Oh, okay, that's cute." So then Kathy talks about how like she has so many like Terry Mugler dresses at the Waldorf. I think she said the Waldorf. I think she said the Waldorf, which I haven't heard that name in a long time. I know it's like it really, or it used to be, or maybe it still is like one of those ritzy hotels, like the Ritz Carlton and stuff like that. But she was just saying that like it's in a like in storage there. She was like they're probably still there. They haven't torn down the hotel. And then Erica's like, oh, we should definitely go and check that out. I said, cause girl, you want to rummage through that lady's old dresses. You ain't slick. You ain't slick. So then Erika starts talking about how she has like this, like she has her clutch. Her clutch is $1,800. And then she starts talking about how, you know, like I've been finding old dresses that I've had for years. And she's just naming off like all these designer things that she has. And everyone's kind of like looking at her. Like even her friends, like Kyle kind of looked at her. Lisa kind of looked at her. And even Diana kind of looked at her like, girl, shut up. And then in Garcelle's green screen, she's kind of like, I understand that like Erika had this lifestyle for like over like 20 years, but talking about the lavish things that you have in the predicament that you're in, it's not a good look. And it's not a good look. So then they get on, Erika and Garcelle start talking, and Erika's like, you know, I had a wonderful time with you snowmobiling. And Garcelle's like, yeah, me too. So then they start talking about the earrings. And I think Garcelle's whole like lead into that was like, what does $750,000 earrings look like? And then Erica's like, no, they're like 3.1 million. She was like, oh, and Garcelle's like, that's how much they're worth? She was like, oh, she was like, yeah, something, something, something. So then they just start talking about it. And Garcelle's like, don't you think you should give them back? And Erika's like, no. She was like, and Garcelle's like, well, why don't you think you should give them back? Like, and Erika's whole thing is like, I'm letting the courts deal with them. Like, they told me I should give them back. I, you know, disputed it and we're dealing with it now. And she was just like, it's legal something. It's not criminal, but I'm in like property court right now about these things. And they're just having this conversation. And Garcelle is like, don't you feel like you should give them back? Because I would feel like I would need to give them back or should give them back because of the victims. And Erika's whole thing is like, no, I don't feel like giving them back. Like, they're mine. Like, until the judge tells me I have to give them back, they're not going back. And I was like, well, she said they're not going back. And Erika was very adamant at that dinner table, like, they not going back. Like, until the judge tells me I have to give them back, I'm not giving them back. So it is what it is and what it's going to be. And I said, well, okay. Okay. Yeah. So then they all end up going to the house that Garcelle, Sutton, Crystal, Dorit was supposed to be staying at. And the other, like the really nice house that is expensive. And they get there, everyone kind of changes in like some comfortable clothes. I think Lisa Rinna took one of Garcelle's like jumpsuits, and then Garcelle changed, so did Sutton. The only people that were still like in their clothes from going to the restaurant were the people that don't live there. Lisa had brung edibles, so she was trying to get everybody to try them. And they were all like, for a moment, it was like cute. Like you could tell that they were about to have a fun night, but then things went left. We then have a scene where Kathy is trying to talk about her tequila. I think it's called Casa de Sol Blanco. And everybody kind of just was like, no. Like, Erika said no. She said, the last time I drank tequila, I told Garcelle's son to F off. Lisa Rinna is like, what, like, really wasn't in the mood. And then Sutton was like, I don't drink tequila. I only drink vodka. Which I'm like, girl, no, girl. I'm a tequila girl. But I said in one of the drama video, I like tequila, okay? But it got to come from Mexico. Okay, I want it from the roots, from where it's supposed to be made from, okay? Mexico. So But I kind of felt bad for Kathy in this moment because you could tell that she was really trying to like promote her business. Kyle is scoffing at it and kind of like making jokes about it. And none of them are really paying attention. But to me, they all kind of felt like they were high. Because Lisa was giving people edibles, I feel like as for some of them, the edible might have kicked in a lot sooner than later. And so they really weren't paying attention to her. And you could kind of tell that Kathy was like annoyed a bit. I don't know if her feelings were hurt, but I could definitely tell that she was annoyed. Like she was like, I'm trying to do something here and y'all are not trying to help me. So she kind of just let it go. So while they're over here like playing, you see Crystal, Dorit, Crystal, Dorit, Garcelle, and Diana sitting off to like the bar. And Diana, and mainly Dorit, is like asking Garcelle, like, what did y'all talk about? Like, what were y'all talking about? And Garcelle's like, oh, me and Erika had a conversation about those earrings because it's all over the blogs, it's everywhere. But she was very much open about that situation. And I was really surprised about it. Like, very surprised about it. And that's when Diana said in her green screen, like, if you guys care so much about the victims, why not donate? And as y'all know, Diana donated. And if you want to know, I did a video, the drama video for it. But Diana donated to the Indonesian Air Fund, I guess, for the victims. So, I mean, she put her money where her mouth, like, you know how to say, put your money where your mouth is. She did that. But it's like, okay, we see you, Diana. We see you. So the conversation is continuing. And then Garcelle decides, you know what? Why don't we invite Erika to this conversation? Because I don't want to be talking about this like we're talking about her. And that is where it went downhill. This is where it went downhill. So let's get into it, you guys. So this segment, I'ma just talk. It was so much going on. We got another face of Erika being like, the facts. You care. You just want the facts. I'm giving you facts. I was like, okay, girl, okay. But like I said, they invite Erika over to be a part of the conversation. We got Lisa, Cherie, Kyle, and Sutton sitting on the couch. And then Diana, Garcelle, Crystal, and Dorit and Erika at the bar having this conversation. And Crystal pretty much told Erika, I think you should give the earrings back. They're bought by bad money or ill-gotten money. Like, do you not care about when Erika was like, but what are the facts? And you're only saying this, bitch. Erika's whole thing was like, Crystal's only saying this because this is what people want her to say. And this is what she thinks she has to say. So she looks good for public perception or for the viewers. And Crystal's whole thing is like, no one's making me say this. These are the facts. Like, people died, bro. Like people are dead. Like, that's their families. Like, this is money for their families. And Erika's whole thing is like, are these real victims? Like, do we know, are these people real? And Garcelle's whole thing is like, what do you mean? Like, of course we know that they're real. Like, we know that these people are real. We've seen these people. And Erika's whole thing is like, she was like, I'm not being sued. I think she said Girardi's Keys. I think that's the name of the company that Tom Girardi's company. She was like, Girardi Keys is being sued, but Erika is not responsible because I didn't do any of those things. Like, I didn't know where he put that money. I didn't know where he did this, and this. So why should I have to give up my things? And it's like, honestly, like, I get where Erika was coming from. I really do. I get where Erika was coming from. I get where Garcelle and Crystal was coming from. It really is a situation of like, where do you lie with either one? Because like, I got it from both ends. And if you've been watching me for a while, I've always said that Erika should have just did a benefit concert. I don't know if the gay community still rocks with her. I don't know. Because the only song I like is How Many F Do I Give? How many do I give? Even though that song is not the meaning behind it's not the best, but I like that song. But I've always said Erika should have did a benefit concert, and then all the money she got from like throwing on this benefit concert, because She could have, and this is what I've been saying. She could have been the headliner, and then got a lot of like LGBTQIA members, well, artists, or even straight artists or local artists in LA who are trying to get their name out there, and threw on a benefit concert, and then all the proceeds would have went to like a fund for the victims, and then that would have cast her in a very positive light, and people wouldn't be really throwing darts at her too much. But it's the fact that Erika wants to like hold on to everything, and it's like, girl, your life was funded by money that should have went to people who were in dire need of it. This whole time you have not been in dire need of this money. These people who have like medical bills, nowhere to really live, they needed that money, not you, ma'am, not you. So that's always been my thing. I'm of more of the fact of Crystal and Garcelle. If it was me in her position, I would just give up everything that they're asking me to give up. And the only reason why I would do it would be because I don't want to deal with this anymore. I don't want to deal with this anymore. I don't want my name to constantly be in the headlines or in tabloids, and people saying that I was working with him, or I'm selfish, or I'm this, or I'm that, or I'm a horrible person. I would just let it go. And I've learned as I've gotten older, sometimes letting things go, even if you're right, is actually a lot better than trying to dig your heels in and fight. And I think the issue is Erika's at the point where she's really digging her heels in, and she wants to fight. And I get it, she's defensive, and that's understandable, but it doesn't make her look good to the public. You have Garcelle saying like, I'm of the belief that you don't want to give it up because you feel like if you give up those earrings, you'll be guilty. And Erika's like, I'm not guilty. That's why I'm fighting for my life every day. And she's like, I'm doing what the courts are telling me. If the court say I need to give them back, then I'll give them back. If the court says I can keep them, I'm keeping them. She was like, I didn't steal this money. My ex-husband's firm did, but I didn't do it. So why should I be punished? And she got a point. Why should she be punished? So, but that's also the reason why, like, the lifestyles that people be wanting, especially like and because I'm a woman, that's why I kind of sometimes like look at women who are like, oh, I want my man to pay for everything, or I want to be with this rich man. It's like, sometimes you end up giving up a lot more than you think when you get with those type of men. Like, there's a lot of things that you give up when you get with those type of men that have that certain amount of wealth, that it's like, it's cute to like to fantasize about having a life like that, but it's not the one you want sometimes. Because oftentimes, more than not, we have been showcased how like disgusting, how mean, manipulative, vindictive, and evil those type of men and women can be when they have that much money and that much power. And Erika is firsthand of showing you that, because it's like, who would have thought all that money that they have was from him stealing from people? And it's like, because he was winning all these cases, you think like, okay, you're winning these cases, give these people their money. Because the thing is like, even if he took his cut from these people, they still probably would have had a decent lifestyle, or maybe the same lifestyle. It might not have been as grandiose and as lavish, but you still would have been able to live in the laps of luxury, as well as been a well-respected attorney. But no, he got greedy and just took from these people, just kept taking and taking and taking until he couldn't take no more, until he got caught up and caught. So I get it. I get where Erika's whole thing is like, I'm a wife in ruin, because Kyle gets upset, especially when Erika refers to the victims as potential victims or probable victims, like these people don't exist. Because Kyle's whole thing is like, I can't defend you with the things that you're saying. Even Dorit said in her confessional that Erika is very reactionary, where like she just lashes out when she's in defense mode. And right now in this conversation, you can clearly tell that Erika is defensive. Erika is trying to protect herself. And even when she said, I'm doing this by myself, it is true. She is out here by herself. Like, she doesn't have her husband anymore. Most people who are her friends have probably pretty much like backed all the way from her, despite well, other than these ladies, other than these ladies, other people that are probably close to Erika probably dipped because they didn't want to be associated with this. So I understand. I understand her feeling like, okay, I'm out here by myself. I have to protect me. Because she said, I don't care about them victims. I care about me. Because I like, and she doesn't want to call herself a victim. But I thought it was crazy how Kyle was like, Erika, like, you technically are a victim. But it's like, if you're going to be a victim, you need to play victim. And Erika's whole thing is like, I'm not a victim. I'm a wife in ruin. And I'm like, girl, technically that means you are a victim because someone left you in ruin or put you in ruin. But I think Erika's trying to hold fast to like, I'm this femme fatale. I'm this boss chick. But you're not, because she contradicts herself. One minute she's crying about what happened and saying like, my life is deteriorating. I hate where I'm at. And the other time she's like, no, I'm scratching and surviving. It's like, girl, pick one and stick with it. Stick with it. So Lisa decides it's time to go. Everybody's like, all the people that's going to Kyle's house, it's time to go. Erika's whole thing is like, I can fight with y'all all night because I'm going to defend myself. She cussing them out. She's like, I can do this. I can fight all night. I like, it's whatever. And I really do think her defense mechanism, like Erika just got real defensive. I thought it was funny though. I'm not gonna lie. Like, to me, that was classic TV. It was classic TV because it reminded me of the times where people were not as curated or self-editing. Like, I think all the things that Erika said, she meant what she said. And I don't think she's going to take them back. I think she genuinely meant what she said. Like, bro, I'm out here fighting for my life. I only care about me. It's really F them people because they're trying to sue me even though I didn't do nothing to them. And I'm trying to hold on to what, at least the little things that I have from my old life. Because that's the thing. Erika just misses her old life. And I mean, who can blame her? Who can blame her? Like, I would miss that life too. But at the end of the day, morally, what she's doing to a lot of people, even me included, is wrong. Like, if I knew that money was from like blood money, technically that's blood money, I give it back because I wouldn't want the bad vibes of that money. I would just give it back. I would just let them people have it. And like I said, I would just let it go because I feel like if she would let it go, maybe things would slow down or she could live her life. But I think it's hard. It's hard to change, especially how quickly things have happened towards her. Like, in a span of 3 years, Erika went from like up here to like, like down here. And I think she's just trying to grab anything that she can. Because the truth of the matter is, like, she should just give it back. So, because at the end of the day, like, those people need it, not you. You're still on a reality show getting paid. You have a roof over your head. Like, deal with it, sis. There's still companies that want to endorse with you, even though your life is very polarizing and scandalous. Like, let the earrings go. Like, at this point, it's not that serious. Like, it's not that serious to hold on to them. Like, just let them go. let them go. But the night ended with her just being like, y'all, F y'all. F y'all, because y'all not going to be out here trying to make me feel bad about myself. I just thought it was crazy when when Kathy told Kyle to stop cussing. And at first I didn't realize it. I thought it was childish. But I think Kathy was trying to protect her sister as well, because it's like what they talked about on Married to Medicine, when you argue with a fool, you become a fool. So now people can't tell which one is the fool, because Erika, like, Kyle wasn't getting through to Erika, because Kyle's whole thing is like, Erika, I can't defend you when you say these things. And Erika's whole thing is like, why not? Because you have a relationship with me, not those people who say I'm doing this, this, and this. And I mean, to Erika's point, she has a point. Like, Kyle is in close proximity to her. But to Kyle's credit, like, I do feel bad for those people. Like, those people have suffered, and it's at the hands of your husband. So you might as well give up what they want. Just give them people what they want, girl. But yeah, y'all, that is it. That is all. Remember to be bravely authentic and drop down in them comments below. Like, what do y'all think? Like, I liked unhinged, kooky characters. And at this point, I feel like Erika saved her chair or her seat on BRHOBH on Beverly Hills because a lot of people have been saying to get rid of Erika, Lisa Rinna, and Diana. But I think after this display of this episode, she not going nowhere. She probably gonna get another season or two before they really like contemplate letting her go. But yeah, y'all, I'm out. Deuces.